I love it when I spend like $3 and it makes me $500 more. I love that. And the fact is that happens. It happens fairly frequently. And those little things that turn out to be big differences are some of my favorite things to do in the flipping business. We're going to talk a little bit about that and about some other ideas today on episode 130 of the Flipping Genius. If you buy and sell vehicles for a profit, or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius podcast. Our number one goal is to help our listeners make more money. Every episode, we share information, ideas, and experiences of real-life car flippers. I'm Randy Lee. I'm the host of Flipping Genius. I've flipped cars most of my life. For over a dozen years now, I've been a licensed dealer. I am working to build the best podcast about successfully flipping cars for a consistent profit. Let's get to it, flippers. All right. I apologize. Start off with an apology. I apologize for taking a week off. I think it's the first time that we have not recorded an episode at some point during the week in maybe 2 years. And that's pretty exciting. We've tried to be very consistent. I was on vacation with my family last week up in Ohio and Indiana and Michigan and had a fantastic time. And I thought about slowing down long enough to do a short episode. And I thought, come on, you need a break. So we're back with episode 130. I appreciate you guys giving me a little bit of a break. And in the interim, there was some good activity on the car flipping forum. If you're not a member yet, please join. It's free to join. Just go to Facebook groups and search Flipping Genius, and you'll find the car flipping forum there, along with other sales groups there. And speaking of those sales groups, I am excited to say that we've got some new members joining our sales groups across the country. I especially see some good growth in Orlando, Florida, in trying to think of where else. Huntsville, Alabama, all the time is growing. And I've seen a little bit in Omaha, Nebraska, and Detroit, Michigan. But the one I expect to grow, I expect to see a lot of growth from, is the group that we have in the Indianapolis, Indiana area. And the reason for that is a young man who is going to be joining us there and helping run that group. And that's something I invite anybody who's interested in. If we've got a car selling group in your area, I invite you to join me in managing that group and become trying to think of the term, a manager. There's other terms that they have it, but where you can help manage who the members are and maintain the group and make sure that there's no spam going on. And it's a role that's important, but it doesn't take a lot of time, and it allows you to actually be at the forefront of the market. Evan Lee is a young guy that I met this week. No relation to me, although I do have a nephew by the same name. Evan lives up in Indiana, and he contacted me about an idea that he has that he's working. He's a guy after my own heart. He has an idea, and he just went with it. Began running with it immediately. His idea was simply to become a salesman for other people's cars. And now, Evan and I talked for half hour or so, and I think he had some good ideas. He's 18 years old. He's very confident, and he's willing to work hard. And I think he may have something that he'll build into something. But something I learned from Evan that I was excited to share with you is not so much his idea as being a salesman for individuals. And that may be something that, as he works on it, it may be something I have him to come share, or he may share it on the forum. And if he does, I'd appreciate it if you guys would give him some good feedback. But his procedure at this point for finding cars is literally knocking on doors. Now he was reaching out to me hoping that he could expand that, and I didn't tell him that he couldn't. But I tried to give him some reasonable, honest, realistic feedback, so that he wouldn't go too far out of the way. But his idea right now is to literally go call on people when he sees a car that he thinks might be something that he could flip and knock on the door. And his procedure is to go ask them if they want him to sell that car for them. And he's had some pretty good success doing this. The concept is not very far off from my concept that you've heard me talk about in the past, where I use Post-it notes, business cards, a website that says Randy buys cars, my phone number on it. And however, I'm not as aggressive, I haven't been as aggressive as Evan. And after talking to him, I realized that's crazy. Why am I not being more aggressive? Now I know people are not going to love it that you knock on the door all the time, but that's okay. I don't expect them to love me. The more opportunities that I'm going to have in front of somebody, the more success I will have. I know that's the case in whatever I do. So this week, when I was out doing my thing, which normally my thing is walking about 5 to 7 miles every day, usually through neighborhoods where I can keep my head on a swivel and look for vehicles. While I was doing that, I found yesterday, I think 5 or 6 vehicles that looked very promising. In my view, for me, what's promising is usually an expired tag, a flat tire, high grass growing up around a vehicle, and the vehicle that looks like it could be something that could be reconditioned and resold, especially if it's something like a Honda Accord or a Ford F-150 or a Toyota Camry, something that I think, even if there's something fairly major wrong, it may be worth putting money into. Well, I had my cards and I had my Post-it notes with me, and I did take a Post-it note, and here's my Post-it notes right here. If you're watching the video, you see I'm holding one up that says "We buy cars, we buy houses," and my phone number on it. And I put that Post-it note on the mailbox in 2 occasions, and then I walked away. And after I walked away, I thought of Evan. Thank you, Evan. And I went back and knocked on those doors to see if there was an immediate interest in talking to me about selling those cars. Now, full disclosure, nobody was home. So my Post-it note was a good idea, because very well they may call me later. But I did it. I walked up the driveway, up the path, knocked on the door, and if somebody was there, I'm pretty sure that I would have made a new friend, because that's usually what happens, and I would have had a chance, quite possibly, to create a deal for myself to buy a vehicle. And like I said, what Evan does is he creates a deal where he will sell the vehicle. I feel like that's a little more complicated than I want to get into. But if you don't have the deep enough pockets to buy stuff, it's probably pretty smart idea. So, pretty simple idea, but it's a good one, and it's not one that I've really talked about before, so I wanted to share that with you. I did a Facebook Live on the car flipping forum. Again, if you're not on the car flipping forum, please join. And I think that's a good thing that I'm going to do. I'll check it. I'm actually I kind of do this on the fly, as you can tell, sometimes more than others. So I'm going to check that to see if anybody has requested any subjects. But I have a few subjects that I want to talk about, and the first one was exactly that, Evan's idea of knocking on doors. I want to mention another one of our car flipping forum guys, and a past guest on the Flipping Genius, a great friend of Flipping Genius, and a really good man, a good flipper, If you listen to, I believe it's episode 112, thereabouts, uh, Sam Koinakski was our guest. Uh, Sam is originally from Poland. He lives in north of Detroit, Michigan now, has a wife and some beautiful kids, wonderful family, and very close with his family back in Poland. And he and his father-in-law were on the podcast back around 100, episode 120, 118, and we were raising money for his father-in-law, who's still in Poland and is helping the some Ukrainian folks there, and that's still going on. I believe, and anything you can do to help them would be fantastic. But the goal there was to get a van to help Sam's in-laws, as they helped about 40 people at the time living in their hotel, and I'm happy to say that we were uh, of assistance, and that combined with Sam and his father-in-law's ingenuity allowed them to get a nice Volkswagen diesel van that would carry, I think, 10 or 12 people. Perfect thing that they needed to take them to the town, for the doctor, for church, for meetings. And anyway, that was exciting. I appreciate all those of you who participated and helped with that cause, and I really appreciate Sam bringing it to our attention. Well, Sam's constantly bringing things to our attention. He's a great participant on the Flipping Genius, and he's a great example to all of us. If you're a member of the Car Flipping Forum, please participate. Not only share your ideas, but also comment on other ideas. If you've got information to share it, please. If you want information, please ask the questions. If I can help, of course, reach out to me at flippingquestions@gmail.com, or just right there at the Car Flipping Forum. An easiest way to find all this stuff is just go to our website, flippinggenius.com, flippinggenius.com, only one G. And you'll see links to the Car Flipping Forum. You'll see links to become a flipping partner, a flipping team member, a flipping champion. These are all ways that we can interact with you. You'll see our resources page with information about products, sometimes discounts on products, and sometimes free information, free products from past guests and companies that we're working with, and we're constantly looking for that. I'm trying to get some more things there to share with you. Anyway, back to Sam. Sam, like so many of us, I think he fell in love with a car. Please, let me grab this. It was a Mercedes-Benz, and I should be able to pull it up here and share with you. So Sam bought an older Mercedes and fell in love with the thing, and decided he just had to keep it for himself. Let's see what it was. And where I'm looking at right now is actually the very good. Okay, so interesting. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the responses so far. 85% of you are interested in the simple fixes that we're going to talk about, and 15% of you are interested in knocking on doors, and those responses are still coming in. Let's see. No suggestions, it doesn't look like, yet. And going to Sam, he has a 1983 Mercedes 300 SD turbo diesel, so an old beast. And he says he fell in love with it. He loves how it sounds. And originally, when we saw him reach out to us, he was talking about he found the front fender and the parts for the front end, but he found them in South Carolina, and Sam, as I said, is in Michigan. Sam arranged to to get the parts, he reached out to me. He reached out to a lot of people that he knew, a lot of folks up in the north up there think that if you're in Alabama, it's pretty much the same as being in South Carolina, but it's a long ways away. I didn't know anybody there, but I tried to look for somebody. In the meantime, Sam found somebody who could go to the junkyard, get the part, and ship it to him. And I thought that that's such an innovative idea. He had, obviously, it's a fairly unique part. You got a color match on a front, I think a front fender and some other things, for his 83 Mercedes-Benz, so almost a 40-year-old car, and found somebody in North Carolina or South Carolina who was willing to go get it, ship it to him, and he promises to share the finished product with us. And I know the kind of work that Sam does, so I know that thing's going to look absolutely pristine when he's done with it. So it'll be fun. Keep your eyes open on the car flipping forum to see what Sam comes up with. That, but off of that specific subject and on to the concept of networking, I want to encourage you to interact with each other, especially in our group, but also in other groups, and look for opportunities. You can find opportunities to get parts. You can find opportunities to get knowledge. I'll be frank. I did an episode a few weeks back about networking. Honestly, I thought it was one of the most important subjects that I could cover, because I know how it's helped me to develop a good team of people that can help me build, help me grow, people that know more than I do, people that have more resources than I do. I watched the numbers on every episode, and unfortunately, that wasn't a sexy title to you guys. A lot of you, the regular listeners, have listened to it, and I hope that you got something good out of it. But here I am talking about networking again. The reason I'm talking about it is I know it will help you. So I encourage you to reach outside of your circle, reach outside of yourself, and reach out to others to find information, find parts, find knowledge, find whatever can build your business and help you make less mistakes. I know it will work, and I know it will save you money and it will make you money. The car flipping forum is a great place to start. It is one of the main reasons why we started that. If you have further ideas on how we can do that and how we can expand that, I ask you to reach out to me. We have plans to create some one-on-one groups and small groups where we'll study together, we'll interact together, and I think it'd be good to any input that you have on what you'd like those groups to be revolved around, whether it's about specific repairs that you want to talk about, ways to find vehicles, ways to buy vehicles, or we can talk about all of it. That's probably what I'll do if I'm left in charge, and so far I'm left in charge. But I invite you to reach out to me with your ideas. Thank you again, Sam, for sharing that, and we look forward to hearing more about what you've got going on. Hey, let's take a little break. I'm gonna grab some more Kickapoo Joy Juice, and then we're gonna be back. When we get back, we're gonna talk about those little things that you can do that make you big money. And I want to thank Diego Castro, one of our members, who brought some of those ideas to my attention. Be right back. Hey, thanks for listening. And I want you to consider becoming a Flipping Team member. And when you do, we will share with you a startup kit that is valued at $250 or more. And each month, you'll get our Flipping Team Member Success Pack, which is also designed to help you make more money each and every month. You'll get more bonus material and other information because you're a Flipping Team member. Go to flippinggenius.com and click on the Flipping Team member button to learn more. We're back. Okay, I want to talk next about the little things. Specifically, I've got 9 little things that that can bring big results, big money, and those I think are my favorite little tricks that I've learned over the years. Some of them, I just kind of knew how to do this because I'm a cheapskate, and I did them to my own cars just to make them look better. And those are the same things that I still do now that help me sell vehicles. And I again want to thank some of you, specifically Diego Castro, a young guy who I think he's in California. Could be wrong. I don't have your information in front of me here. Hate to talk about you the wrong way. So I'm gonna look you up here. So Diego commented on the car flipping forum group recently, and he showed some pictures of a nice looking older model Honda that he flipped, and he had some good success with it, and took the time to share that with us. And I really appreciate you doing that. Hey, I'm completely wrong. Diego's up in Minnesota, of all places. I thought the pictures looked like California, but Minnesota looks a lot like California when there's no snow on the ground. Anyway, thank you, Diego. He's got some good information on that one vehicle and probably other vehicles to come. There's a bunch of you have shared some good things on the car flipping forum. I appreciate that, and I encourage the rest of you to do it. So I'm just going down this list of things that I pulled from both some of you and some of me, and I've got 9 of them here. Write them down. They'll make you money. First one I just pulled right off Diego's post. He took the hubcaps off that little Honda and just spray painted them. I've done that same exact thing. When the hubcap shape is still good, it's not cracked up, it's not beat up. A lot of times it loses the paint off of it. Just pull that thing off with a can of $8 can of silver paint. That's what Diego said. $8 can do. Paint those hubcaps. Just do a decent spray paint job. Let them dry. Put them back on, and that car will look so much better with those hubcaps. Now, the fact is, a lot of times the hubcaps are just worn out and they need to just be thrown away. You got to make that call. You can pick up a set of hubcaps that will look better than what's on it at Walmart for around, I think it's around $25. When I first started this, they were around $12, I think. And every now and then I'll find them someplace else for cheaper, and I'll buy what I can. So that's of course, if you buy the wrong size, it's no good. But I go through enough cars that I know I'll use them eventually. Another thing you can get at the junkyard. Sometimes I'll go to the junkyard just on a scavenger hunt because I'm looking for a specific thing. But while I'm there, I'll try to find hubcaps, especially if they are for a vehicle that I frequently sell. Oh, excuse me. Like Toyota Camrys and Honda Accords. Love to have parts for those because I know I'm going to keep trying to buy them. Well, a lot of them these days have alloy wheels, so that won't always fit, but worthwhile to change out the hubcaps. I've seen people painting them black now. I haven't started doing that, but that's something you could do. And I know one of the guys recently on the forum, I think we talked about it before, did a really nice job paying to have the wheels on I think it was a Nissan sports car, and it was in the $7,000-8,000 range. He paid a few $100s to have a really professional job done on the wheels. He had them blacked out, and it definitely made that vehicle look it looked better. It looked more modern, and he sold it quickly. So some work on the wheels is worth it too. But Diego was working on a car that's definitely in my price range, probably like a '98 Honda Accord, maybe a 2000 Honda Accord, something like that. And hubcaps were good. Okay, moving along. We talked about silver paint. My favorite paint is flat black paint. Uh, Man, Walmart used to sell this stuff for $1 a can, and now they don't. But it's still worth it to buy some flat black paint. I'll still buy some gloss black paint too, but flat black I use is perfect for that area around the windshield wipers. If you take a look at the windshield wipers on a lot of cars, Hondas especially, you'll see that the paint is chipped off. All I do is I take some newspaper, slide it under those windshield wipers, under in between the wiper and the windshield, and I don't sand anything down. I just spray paint it. I spray paint it flat black, let it dry, pull the newspaper out, and that thing looks about as close as new as anything on that car is going to look as close to new with 220,000 miles on it, which is probably pretty close to the average that I typically have on a vehicle. I also use it on any black trim. A lot of the vehicles will have some black trim around the windows. I will use some masking tape to make sure I don't get it on the windows. The wheels behind those hubcaps, I'll pop those hubcaps off, and while I'm cleaning the hubcaps or painting the hubcaps, I'll paint that wheel black, because a lot of times there's rust in there or something like that. That flat black paint or the gloss black paint sometimes on the wheels that you can see, through the slots in the hubcaps. In the engine compartment, in the little holes, that it doesn't matter what's there. A lot of times I'll paint some black paint in there, just cleans it up. And any other place where simple black paint can help, the wheel wells is another place I'll look. The third thing that I put on my list is headlights. Of course, you want your headlights to work. That's a good thing. But I'm talking about cleaning the headlight lens. Now, for the longest time, I did that all on my own. I used everything from commercial products that are out there to toothpaste. Toothpaste is still something I use. You've probably seen a video of me using toothpaste, pulling scratches off of a truck. Toothpaste will work sometimes on headlights. A lot of them need serious work done. There are times when you could buy a new lens at a pretty decent price, but most of the time I find it's beneficial to either restore the headlights to myself or hire somebody that will restore them. Now, I have somebody locally who restores headlights for me now. He does it on barter, and I've talked about barter, so that's a way that I prefer to do business. Generally, there's somebody in your town that will do it from anywhere from $50 to $150. 50 is probably hard to find, but they're probably out there. They can do it pretty quickly. My guy is closer to the $150 range, but he does a fantastic job. It makes those headlights look like new. And I tell you, spending $150 on a vehicle that I'm selling for $3,000 to $5,000, $150 is probably worth $500 because of the appearance. So that I love $1 can of spray paint or $8 can of spray paint, but everything's not dirt cheap. But if you've got no money to spend at all, you're trying to keep it low, you're selling a car for under $2,000, and you try and do headlights cheap, you might try some toothpaste. You'll be surprised at how the grit from the toothpaste can get those headlights quite a bit clearer. And if you want to splurge and spend $5 or $6 on one of the headlight treatment tools, do that. Busting through these things, number 4, I just want to talk about interior cleanup. And again, I'm going to bring up our friend Mr. Castro. Diego shared some work he did on some door handles and some interior pictures, and did a nice job on them. It was a simple fix. He cleaned up some glue that was in the area. He cleaned the door handles up, and then he painted them, and it looked 100% better. I bought a Toyota Tundra this week. It's got a ton of miles on it, but it's really, really good vehicle. However, the interior has almost every knob on the interior that could be broken is broken. So I probably won't go to the junkyard on that unless I have to. I'll go to carpart.com. You'll find carpart.com linked on our resources page. No, I don't make any commission off that. It's my favorite place to find parts for a used vehicle. This is a 20-year-old Toyota truck, and I'll probably need some other parts too. So I can find all those parts. I may be buying them from someplace in Diego's neighborhood, or maybe buying them someplace in Sam's neighborhood or your neighborhood. But I don't have to go there to get them. They'll ship them to me, and the knobs from the radio, the knobs from the air conditioning, all that is stuff I'll be able to pick up for probably less than $20 and have it shipped to me, and it'll make all the difference on that thing. I mean, being able to turn the knob without using a pair of pliers, which is what you have to do now, will significantly increase the usability of that vehicle. And although the truck's going to sell itself just because it's a Toyota truck, that little bit of investment will definitely help me seal the deal on that. Headliners. This is something, I'm talking about simple stuff. This is a free one. If you've got that headliner hanging down, a lot of times I see them on Chevy Impalas, older ones. In the back, they just want to separate from the back, just the back window. They'll be all sealed up. Here's what I do. I take a regular office stapler, like this one. I'm holding it up to my camera. If you're watching online, you'll see that I have a stapler. If you're listening, you know what a stapler looks like, so you're cool. And I just take the stapler and I go along the back upside down and right along the window, and I put one staple in, probably about every inch, I think. Boom, 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 boom. And that underneath that headliner is a foam pad, and as long as it's not separated all the way across, that is one of the easiest fixes that makes a big difference on that vehicle. So don't give up if you get the headliner. Now, if you've got the headliner separating all over, like a lot of times I see, and I have one right now on a Chrysler van, that's a different story. You'll probably have to get a little more creative than just staples on that, because it won't look good if you use staples. But on that back seam around the edges, on whatever car that is, the latest one I've had was an Impala. It's a miracle. It'll make a big difference when you slide in. You don't see that, and then your knobs are clean and your door handles are clean, like Diego did, and they're gonna want to buy it. And that's what we're looking. Also, on the interior, just like with the hubcaps, another cheap thing to buy are new floor mats. A lot of times the floor mats will just be worn flat out, especially if you're looking at 200,000 miles plus cars. So just get some new ones. You can buy them again. You can buy them at Walmart, a set of they're the cheap ones, but they look so much better, and they'll make your interior look better. You can get them for around $20. Again, I'll buy them at other places. I'll pick them up. I picked some up at Ollie's. You probably have Ollie's near you. I picked some up at a barter show recently. Barter businesses that do barter will have things like that. If you want more information about any of these things, feel free to write me at flippingquestions@gmail.com. But new floor mats are the simplest way to go. If you're really super cheap and you got a set of floor mats that are cleanable, yeah, clean them. Clean that carpet is well worth it. To take some time to clean the carpet. It's going to make a difference in what I want to do, and that's just a fact. Inside the car, just clean it up, make it smell good. I got one now that is so nasty. I just don't even want to get out there and do it, but I know it'll make a huge difference in whether or not somebody buys that vehicle, and you just got to do it. And sometimes some of the cleanup stuff is beyond what I would expect one of my detailers to do, so I got to do it. So or sell them dirty. And I do. I try to sell them dirty. You know that. Um, I'm talking about things that are inexpensive, but everything's not dirt cheap, like staples and $1 cans of paint. Tires are very important. It's very important. You can't sell a car with metal sticking out of the tires. So get yourself, if your budget is really low, go get some used tires. You can get a set of used tires still for probably you can probably get 4 of them put on the car for 120 bucks. If you work hard, you might get them for 100 if you go there frequently. But don't want to buy garbage. You want to get a decent tread. Um, Buying new tires for the car could definitely be worth it if you're in the right price range. I'd say 4,000 and above. It's worth it to probably put some new tires on it because it totally changes the complexion of the vehicle. Tires are very important, and if nothing else, put some used tires on it. Make sure it's got a good spare. Make sure you've got the equipment in the trunk to change the tire too. It's important. It's important to the buyer, and it's important to you just to know that they've got that. Along those same lines, new wiper blades. You've heard me talk about if I'm under the hood, you probably hit me. I only do a few things with it when it comes to repairs, really, and batteries and wipers are two things. So, good idea to put a new set of wipers on the car just so they work well. Your chance, if you don't, you'll probably sell it in the rain. Your wipers won't work, and you don't want to. You don't want that's just bad hoodoo for you. And speaking of the windshield, this is not a cheap one, but I'll tell you right now, it's worth it. A new windshield for me, it's 200 bucks. I don't know if you can get the same deal in your neck of the woods. You probably can, or somewhere thereabouts. Don't pay more than 300, I don't think. But $200 investment in the windshield, somebody actually installing it for me, on most vehicles is worth probably $500 to $700 in the purchase price. If you got a cracked windshield, it's the first thing they're going to say, I got to replace that windshield. And it taints the entire vehicle. It takes very little work. All you got to do, in my part, is write a check for $200. So it doesn't take a lot of time on your part, and it will make that car sell for more. Number 8, that was number 7. Number 8, I see people miss this. It's funny because you'll clean that car everywhere else, but this is where I think I almost start here and make sure that this is done. The door jams, the gas door, the trunk jams, and the hood. I make sure that those things are clean because it really makes a difference. The door jams especially. If I pop open that gas tank and it's clean in there, it looks good. A lot of times I'll clean around the engine more than I clean the engine. If I clean the engine sparkling clean, I figure people will think I'm hiding something. A lot of times I'll tell them that. But I do try to make it so that you don't get dirty opening the hood. And I want the door jams to be nice and clean. It'll improve your bottom line. It really will. And finally, number 9. And this is one you might not have thought of. This is a $3 thing that makes a difference to people. Now you've heard of Carfax, and if you want to get a Carfax, go ahead and get one. They're great, but you can't get a discount on them. I've tried and tried and tried. They don't discount Carfax. It's probably worth it to get one for your folks, but if you don't want to do it, and I usually don't. My cars have usually been owned by 3 or 4 people, and the record that I get back is not going to be stellar. I use something called Check That VIN. You'll find on a resources page, you'll find a link to it. You go to Check That VIN. I think it costs about $3 to get a report. It tells you how many times the vehicle's been titled. It tells you if it's been in any accidents. It tells you if it has ever had a branded title, like a rebuilt title or a salvage title, and it tells you pretty much all the important things you need to know that you'd get from Carfax, but it only costs $3. Now, while you're at our website, flippinggenius.com, and you're on our resources page, click on these two other things. You'll find them on the resources page down at the very bottom. I think it's under other things. The National Insurance Crime Bureau, the NICB. Click on that, plug in your VIN number. You'll get a report from them telling you, again, if the vehicle has ever been stolen, if the vehicle has ever been in any crime activity. Then the other one is the NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And this is very important. It's going to give you a report on any recalls that have been issued on this vehicle and whether or not they're still outstanding. This is, if you're a car dealer, you have to give them this, but if you're just flipping cars and you're only doing 1 or 2 a year or whatever, this is a great thing to hand them. These 3 reports are very valuable to them, and they know that you're being upfront with your disclosures. And it only costs you $3 for all 3 of those because 2 of them are free. So those are the nine little things that can make you big money. They really can. And the last thing I wanted to mention today, so I got to get out of here and go pick up a vehicle, is something that Darren Carilco brought up. Darren is selling his nice looking personal vehicle of his. It's a Porsche. I don't know much about Porsches. I know that I tell a joke about an Irishman who was hired to paint the Porsche, and he gets it done, and he says, "Oh, by the way, that wasn't a Porsche. That was a Mercedes Benz." But that's a whole different story. You probably heard me tell that silly joke. Darren, right away, as soon as he posted his vehicle for sale, he started getting offers on it, which seemed a little absurd, he thought, because one of them wanted to buy it immediately and pay for it and have it shipped to him, and he was going to pay for it with PayPal. Now, most of us have seen things like this. It was a little different than the one I've seen before, where they were going to send me a certified check, but very much the same thing. They were going to pay with PayPal. I don't know what the angle was, but he posted that. Darren posted that on the car flipping forum and asked everybody, "What's this look like to you? Does this look legit?" I immediately said it looked pretty scammy to me. I didn't believe it, and I was really delighted to see that Serena Martin, who is a title professional that works with me here in Alabama, immediately said it's a scam. Walk away. And this is just another way that we can help each other. If you've got something like that, if you're wondering about it, post it so we've got a lot of people who've got a lot of experience, and because we don't want you making mistakes, and they can be costly. You ship a vehicle to somebody and then find out that they can retract the money from you or something like that. Who knows what it is? Definitely not something you want to get involved in. So those some good stuff that came from our car flipping forum. I hope it all makes you money, because that's really the goal. The goal of the car flipping forum and the Flipping Genius podcast has always been to help our listeners make more money, and that's what we try to do every week. I was hoping that some of you would kick me back some ideas on other subjects to talk about today, but I think we've filled up enough time. But please do, if you think of some other things you'd like us to address, you can post it there on the survey that I posted on the car flipping forum. You can send any questions, any suggestions, any ideas to me at flippingquestions@gmail.com, or you can just contact me at the car flipping forum. I'm on there. I'll get your information. You'll find me all over the place. Trying to post more and more videos. Hey, if you are not already subscribing to the Flipping Genius YouTube channel, please do. I'm trying to drive those numbers up, and we have seen some growth there, but I need to get it up above 1,000, because that puts us in a different category so that we can benefit more from what YouTube does for folks. Please share us wherever you can, on social media, email, just whisper it in the ear of somebody. Tell them, look for Flipping Genius. It's great fun. And if you got any suggestions on how we can make it great fun, let me know that too. Uh, like I said, if you are interested in getting involved as a moderator uh, with one of our car flipping groups, sales groups around the country, or if you want us to start one in your neck of the woods, let us know. You can just reach out to me, flippingquestions@gmail.com. I think that's enough of all this. Hey, thanks for listening. I really appreciate you. And thanks for watching, those of you who are watching. And we'll be back next week. Until then, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.